Good morning. How are you today? That's good. Okay. Yesterday we'll talk about truth of suffering. Truth of suffering. We finished two truths, right? No, the two noble truths. So today I'm going to talk about third noble truth, which is the truth of cessation of suffering. Do you remember that the first two noble truths are the cause, the characteristic of samsara and cause of samsara, right? And then this third and fourth noble truth, the characteristic of liberation and cause of liberation. That's kind of neat to understand. So today we'll talk about the cause of liberation or characteristic of liberation, which is the first is the truth of cessation. What is the... Oh, we've done that, okay. So by abandoning the cause of suffering, we can be free from suffering of samsara and realize the truth of cessation, which really is about nirvana, cessation or nirvana or liberation, right? Nirvana, we call it Sanskrit nirvana or moksha. So here, I don't know how many of you understand what the meaning of nirvana is. If you don't know what is nirvana, then these two truths talks really about nirvana today. So you have to understand what is nirvana is. So it is also very important to understand nirvana in order to understand the truth of cessation and truth of path. So nirvana or enlightenment is same. So the enlightenment or nirvana is something that is given to you as a gift from someone. Nagarjuna, the great master Nagarjuna, Indian master, his student describe or explain about nirvana. So nirvana or enlightenment is not really something that is given to you as a gift from someone, or is the seed of enlightenment something that is owned by someone else. What then is nirvana? Nirvana is nothing other than when someone realizes the true nature of one's own self. It is just completely realizing your true nature. You realize this once, you understand all of the good qualities and intelligence that you have already. So to reach nirvana, we must use our mind, training to look inward to realize the true nature of our own minds. That is the nirvana. So we need to sort of develop the wish to realize true cessation. True cessation is the free from the afflictions, right? True cessation is nature of cessation. The free from afflictions, attachment, anger, ignorance. So that is nirvana. Nirvana is really you understand both yourself and others, the nature, true nature. That is what we call nirvana. Actually, Nirvana is really not something, beautiful area or something exist outside somewhere. Nirvana means you really understand your true nature and you diminish all your negative emotions or afflictions. That is we call the Nirvana. Then you are free from suffering. Remember yesterday we were talk about as long as you attach to this samsara, we will suffer. And angry, ignorance, attachment, all these are negative. So when you diminish all these afflictions, then you reach Nirvana. Then you become a Buddha. Buddhist point of view, everybody has a potential to become a Buddha. Not only one Buddha, right? Other religions, some believe many gods. Some religions believe only one God. Like that, in Buddhism, believe that everybody has a seed or Buddha nature or seed of enlightenment or seed of Buddhahood, or everybody has a potential to become a Buddha. It depends you, right? If you have enough to practice and diminish all your negativities, then you have a chance to become a Buddha. A Buddha means awakened one. Understand everything. So we believe that I have a Buddha nature, you have a Buddha nature, everybody has. Even though like animals, insects, everybody has this Buddha nature. But doesn't matter, we don't understand, we don't recognize this Buddha nature as long as we have attachment, anger, ignorance. It's just like a sky. It's very pure blue, but as long as there are thick clouds, then we can't see the sky. That's the same. We have all these afflictions, negative emotions, then we cannot use our Buddha nature. Even though Buddha nature has so many good qualities, but we can't use. So that's why Buddha nature, or if you understand the nature of mind, nature of things, nature of phenomena, then that is Nirvana, that is enlightenment, that is liberation, according to Buddhism. Nagarjuna says a true understanding of liberation should be based on an understanding of emptiness, because liberation is nothing other than the total elimination or total cessation of the delusion and suffering through insight into emptiness. So when we talk about emptiness in Buddhism, it's clear that we are talking about the ultimate truth, right? Ultimate truth. So from the point of view of the Dharma, what we want most for this life is to be free from attachment, anger, and ignorance. It is because as long as we have attachment, we will suffer, right? Attachment, we need our attachment transform into great compassion or love and kindness, right? Attachment makes us suffer. Love and kindness and great compassion or bodhicitta make us happy. Right? So now people think that when I say we need to diminish our attachment, it's a little bit difficult sometimes. Oh, how about my husband? How about my children? I love them. That's attachment, right? Attachment. That you need to change into great compassion, love and kindness, bodhicitta. Not only your family, of course you love your family, but not only your family, you have to develop more than that. Everybody, like you have to love everybody. You have to take care everybody, right? That's really good. So emptiness. We are talking about emptiness. Remember, in Buddhism there are two truths: relative truth and ultimate truth. So when we are talking about emptiness, we are talking about the ultimate truth. So in order to diminish attachment, we need to understand, remember, about selflessness. It is because, for instance, the suffering comes from attachment, and attachment comes from the self. When we say this, I know it is a little bit difficult to imagine not having self for the Westerners. It would be like not having a house to go home, But the problem is, if we have a so strong attachment to the self, then we have so much worrying about it. That's why attachment makes us suffer. But without attachment self, then we have no problem, no worry. You can have a necessary, things like a house, like clothes, like food, whatever, without attachment. You understand? With attachment, make us suffer. Without attachment, whatever you have. Buddha said that monks cannot have so many things, because then you are strongly attached to these things. But Buddha also say, without attachment, monks have whatever you want. Millions of dollars if you have, without attachment. He said, no problem. So that's why it's different, right? Without attachment, you have things. With attachment, you understand what I'm saying? Understand? Without attachment, you can have anything, everything. That means necessary, right? Well, I need this. Without this, I can't live, right? Without house, I need. But without attachment means like not too much worry. If you have a house, wonderful, you can use it. But some people say, then they did this problem, that problem, I need to fix that, and there's so many worries, so many problems, right? You don't need to worry about it. Just everything is impermanent. But you can have a nice house. You understand? Without attachment means without grasping, without worrying. Then whatever you have, really comfortable and very happy. So meditate on selflessness means here letting go of grasping and fixation. You understand? Hopes and fears, and let go of everything. That means selflessness. Actually, when you meditate on selflessness, you should let go everything. Let go everything and very open your mind. When you meditate and you have one time, you will sort of think, doesn't bother me, whatever, bad or good circumstance around you, nothing bother you. That means you letting go everything. That means you are really good practitioners. Right? In Tibet, long time, people came in from China and destroyed in monasteries, killed masters, all this. But good practitioners, nothing bothered them. It's okay, that's fine. I'm not suffering. That's they want, okay? Let them do that, I don't want fight. They say that. And they put a jail. Lots of good people, good practitioners. Yes, I'm going to jail, no problem. I can stay there and I can practice. It's actually good opportunity. They just, if ordinary people really they are sad and I'm so suffering, I can't do this, and then I want to kill myself, like that kind of happen, right? And here we always hear, he killed himself like that many times. What's wrong? Because they can't handle it. It's something bad circumstance. They don't understand the impermanence. They don't understand what samsara is. Then they just, I can't do this anymore. I want to end my life. And they kill. You don't need to do that, because sometimes happy, sometimes unhappy because of samsara. Because we can't change that. It's just this nature. But just be happy. Just be open your mind. And then you will be fine. Definitely, you will be fine. So, if you can let go, grasping, fixation, hope, fear, worry, all this, these bad emotions, we call this bad karma, bad afflictions, really make us suffer. Make us suffer. So, when strong emotion, like, attachment, anger, arise in you, for instance, like attachment or anger, if you examine the experience of the emotion, of course you will see it will automatically help you to understand that no matter how real and strong emotion may seem, they have no valid base. Once you know that they are actually based on a fundamental misconception of reality, and then the emotions themselves become sort of untenable. Very important, examine, investigate when you have angry. When you get angry, examine, investigate where it comes from, where go, what is the cause, what is the problem. And more especially, you will realize that most of our strong emotions arise from assuming the reality of something that is unreal. But actually, I think people, no practice dharma, like people, ordinary people, love, all these negative emotions actually, like anger, like jealous, like attachment, self and attachment. It is because, if we get rid of them, we are afraid of losing our sort of life, right? People told me that. I can't do that because then I lose my life. I said, let go everything. Attachment, anger, ignorance, hope, fear, let go everything. One person told me, I can't do that because then I lose my essence of my life. Of course, they think this is part of their life, right? Essence of their life. But Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and other holy people, great masters, don't have this sort of bad emotions at all. They don't have these emotions. They are not just a piece of something, they are just great human beings without negative emotions. You never lose. If you let go everything, attachment, anger, ignorance, you will not lose your essence of your life. People are just afraid, I can't do that. I can't go let myself. Then I lose my essence of my life. But think about great masters, think about Buddha, think about Jesus, think about all these good people. No bad emotions at all. But they are just amazing human beings, right? So you never lose. Don't worry. Just try to let go everything, okay? When you have a difficult circumstance, difficult life, just let go everything and be open and happy, Try to make you happy. You never lose. no problem. And but when we talk about like meditating on selflessness, and everyone believes that they have a truly existent self. And we say when we investigate about self, it is not exist. But you think, I still feel, I have a self. So it's doesn't make sense to say there isn't a self. Here I am. I feel. I can listen. This is me, And I am the same person I was yesterday, the day before, last year, 20 years ago. We're thinking that. Continuation, right? You told me that, continue. And if I am the same self as a child and as an old age, then what is it that remains the same? We have to investigate, like, is my body the same? Is my mind the same? If you say that my body is not the same, I can tell because it's changing. But my mind is the same mind. Then did your child self understand everything that you understand now? Right? Is the memory of your child self the same as your memory now? And also when you look around at the universe, we live here, and do you see anything at all that's permanent? Nothing change? Same? Logically, to say that something is permanent means that it has always existed, will never change to something else, right? That means permanent, and never change in any difference. That we call permanent. If it changes, then it is no longer the same, right? And therefore, our mind, our body are not permanent. Because we investigate like this, we can't find the same way. It's totally different. Totally different. But I think when we talk about selflessness, people sometimes get afraid and panic, sort of, because of the attachment, right? Attachment. When we say there is no self, there is no I. Buddha went to Bodhicitta and practiced very strongly, and he discovered through his deep meditation that he saw there is no exist self. Ultimate level. Ultimately, not relative, ultimate level. But we think that, when you investigate, where is your body, right? Yesterday we talked about, where is your body? You have one body or you have many bodies? Of course people think, I have one body. So you investigate really through like your head, hand, body, legs, you can't find your body, right? Then people are kind of afraid, because of attachment. You are attached to your body so strongly. We are, right? It's very amazing if you understand the selflessness and you have no attachment yourself, and you have actually the bodhisattvas, they can give their hands, they can give their eyes, they can give whatever, because there's no attachment at all. But we can't do that, because when we investigate the self, then we are afraid because of the attachment. So attachment actually attachment actually make us very suffering. So maybe it is good idea for you to think about how to diminish attachment first. Because if you want to practice about selflessness, maybe that's not good for you. If you're afraid or if you don't like that idea, then you should try to diminish your attachment. In order to diminish attachment, it will really help if you think about impermanence, right? Do you understand? Impermanence. If you understand strongly, deeply about impermanence, very easy to understand attachment or diminish these afflictions. People also think that it does not matter self exists or not. It's not big different. Still, I'm here, and I'm here. But I think when you are sort of only thinking about self, and when you are really meditating on selflessness, it's so big different. It's very big different. It does matter. It does matter self exists or not. It does matter. I think that thinking something and doing something actually different. Remember yesterday we just think about suffering without practice, and with practice thinking about suffering, so big different, like that. So now cessation. I will explain the 4 characteristics. Remember the Four Noble Truths each has 4 characteristics, right? You have that sheet in your yellow feather. These 4 Noble Truths, the cessation, the characteristics are peace, right? Peace, cessation, perfection, and true liberation. These 4. So the first characteristic is peace. The meaning of peace, of course is that all the karma and mental afflictions, and as well as the suffering that a person had or existed, have all been sort of completely eliminated. Then we have sort of ultimate peace. And then second characteristic is cessation. This means that all the seed of suffering that have been abandoned through applying the antidotes, they are antidotes and will never return again. Cessation. Here we are not talking about the temporary cessation, but rather permanent or ultimate cessation, and the antidotes that are used our practice emptiness and selflessness completely. According to the Hinayana, there are 2 paths, right? The Hinayana and Mahayana. According to Hinayana, the cessation achieved does not include completely abandon the self. The Hinayana's students are able to realize the selflessness of self, but not selflessness of phenomena. Just they think that doesn't make sense, and they just they hear the selflessness of a phenomena. They like us, afraid, or no, I don't want to practice like that. So that's why they called Hinayana or lesser vehicles. So they understood, they realized the selflessness of self, but they don't understand selflessness of phenomena. So that's why they don't reach the completely the cessation because of this. And also the Hinayana, there are two different kind of practitioners. One is we call it Charvaka practitioner. One is the what do you call it? Partika Buddhas. They are Partika Buddhas are much higher than the Charvaka. They have understood full of realization of selflessness of self, and half the realization of selflessness of phenomena. So these are not ordinary people actually. And for the bodhisattvas, they abandon both types of self, achieve the selflessness of self and the selflessness of phenomena. So here we are the characteristic of the cessation. This we talking about the not temporarily cessation. We're talking about the ultimate sensation. And then third characteristic is perfection, right? Perfection. This characteristic shows that the state of cessation is excellent and full of qualities, impeccable, perfect. In short, there are no defects, only good quality exist. So that's why this characteristic is perfection. And then finally, the characteristic is true liberation. This characteristic means that when we have realized the sensation once, it is impossible for us to return to samsara ever again without knowing or by ignorance. Right now, we don't know if you believe your future life. I don't know you believe or not. If you believe your future life, we don't know, right, what will be, because the ignorance. But true liberation, this characteristic, impossible, for us to return to samsara ever again without knowing. You can choose, right? You can choose whatever you want. So that's the four characteristics. According to Buddhism, cessation, liberation, total freedom, and nirvana, all is talking about the same thing. So it is important for us to understand cessation, the third noble truth, because we will be sort of motivated to look for liberation by understanding the advantages and wonderful qualities that we can find through cessation. So that is very short explain about the third noble truth, four characteristics. Okay. Now I'm going to give you some instructions how to meditate. I would like to give you a practice that can really help you when you are sort of unhappy and suffering from deep sadness. So it is a good idea to do this practice. Even if you practice meditation, you will have emotional pain and suffering, and a lot of things from your past lives or past or this life arise that will be difficult to face. You may find you do not have the wisdom or the in your meditation to deal with them. So what you need then is what we call this is the heart practice. We call it heart practice. So this is really, really helpful if you are very sad, if you are unhappy, something is really difficult circumstance, then you should practice this. It's very, for me, I think, my understanding, it's very helpful because I give this kind of practice or instruction to Tibetans. Sometimes they, difficult situation, they just love it. They just really, it helps. So what now? You have to sort of visualize in your mind, in the sky in front of you, kind of pray to whichever enlightened being inspires you. Okay, the most. It doesn't matter. You believe Buddha, you believe other, holy people. Doesn't matter. So whichever enlightened beings inspire you the most, you have to think about that. How about that? If you are, of course, if you are Buddhist, Buddha is the best. If you are Christian, maybe Jesus is the best. I don't know. So whatever you can just visualize and think about that. And even if you cannot imagine anyone sort of form, just to feel, the present sort of strongly and invoke his or her power, compassion, and sort of love and kindness, just like that. And open your heart, okay? And really ask for help. Now there is someone who is absolutely there for you. If you really strongly, sort of deeply, ask and think about their powers, compassion, and then who really understand you with love and compassion. And imagine, and now that this kind of, for instance, Buddha or whatever, you are reaching out to you with all his or her love, compassion, wisdom, and power. Then you imagine a very beautiful rays of light stream out towards you from him or her. Okay? Imagine that light as a nectar and satisfying your heart up completely and transforming all your suffering into sort of happiness. You have to visualize that. And you can think about whatever and whoever you know that is also suffering, and you can also think about all the suffering in the world. Not only yourself, right? But also think about everybody. If you feel like sort of crying, don't hold back. Just let your tears flow, and really ask for help. And you can say some, if you want, some prayers, some mantras, if you want. If you don't want, just if you don't want to recite these prayers, mantras, that's just fine. Just visualize all these things. Understand? Then at the end, let your mind dissolve into its nature. And you should look deeply into your nature, and you recognize that there is a nature clarity within your non-conceptual experience. You can look directly at the experience and its essence. Then you will see completely the liberation or the peacefulness. You can feel, if you really understand and correctly how to practice this. It's very strong. It's very strong practice. So let's do that for 10 minutes. Any question? Do you understand how to visualize, how to do this? It's not this is not for today. Okay? I just told you, right? When you have a difficult circumstance, difficult situation, unhappy, sadness, you have to practice this.
So if you're doing the practice for others, would you visualize the person that you're practicing for and then visualize the rays of light
From
filling that?
And yes, the light sort of become a nectar, and you get this nectar in your heart and become very happy. Yes, if you cannot imagine any of this, and then you just feel there's someone who has a compassion, a love and kindness, a power, or good mind, or good heart, someone is there, that's also fine. If you have no anybody, if you have no religion, many people not follow religion, I think it's also fine. So but doesn't matter who you are. We need compassion. We need love and kindness. That's everybody. It's basic nature. And so somebody who has a great compassion and then look for you, and then you just think that, okay? If you believe somebody like your teacher, your master, your Buddha, Bodhisattvas, other Buddhas, so you just imagine that. If you don't have that, just someone who has a great compassion. Think about that. Understand? Yeah? All right. Let's do that. Okay. Remember, what is the preliminary for your meditation if you're a beginner? Just to relax, right? This is the first preliminary. We have so many preliminaries, but you have to just to relax both your body and your mind. That's you need. Otherwise, you cannot meditate because maybe too much thinking. So let go. Let go is very good one. Let go is good word. Let go your thoughts. Let go everything, and just relax and make sure your mind is in your body. We can see here everybody's here, right? But I don't know where is your mind. So that's why if your mind is not here, then you cannot meditate. So make sure your mind bring back into your body. Make sure. That's the most important. Body, mind, speech, these three are our life. But body and speech are not important. Most important is the mind, right? Body and speech are kind of subservient to the mind. The mind is the boss. The mind is the root of all. So that's why make sure your mind bring back into your body. And then you have to work with your mind. Okay? And we have two minds, fixed mind and true mind. A fixed mind means full of thoughts, full of negative emotions. That's we don't want. garbage. And true mind is full of compassion, full of love and kindness, full of bodhicitta, full of wisdom. All this we need. So we have to change. We have to change, right? That's why meditation. Meditation is for transform. If we are a bad person, we have to change into a good person. Means you have to change mostly. There are many changes, but most is your mind. You need to your mind change and practice compassion. Well, it's very important. So now, 1 second, bring your mind back. 1 second, bring your mind back in your body. Make sure your mind in your body. Make sure, and then peacefulness in your mind. These two very important in order to practice meditation. 1 second, bring your mind back. Ten minutes. And once you're done this, and also it's very, very important, correct your motivation. Correct your motivation, which means this meditation is for everybody, for happiness, for compassion, for everybody, not only yourself. So correct your motivation. Once you've done that, then you can start visualize that I told you already. And 10 minutes, please. Any question about that meditation? Yep.
I meditated, I was trying to, I look at Buddha, I look at Christ, I look at all the great people, and try to decipher with it. And what I come up with, I was seeing pain, and I was seeing the pain of Jesus, how he suffered because of his situation, and the joy of Buddha, how he was enlightened, and everyone, because he didn't claim to be a son of God, and how their lives were different based on their claims. They're both great men, but how fear took over. That's what came up for me.
Okay, that's good. But usually, we need to investigate, right? We need to investigate all the teachers, all the teachings. It's very important for us to make sure which kind of teaching you really like it and really helps you through your investigation. Very important. Once you've done that, then really just to focus on that. I think don't really like in Tibet we have that problem when you have something difficult, then they maybe visualize Buddha is better, or maybe Padmasambhava is better, or maybe Avalokiteshvara is better. So they just kind of really thinking and try too many things. and then eventually they lose everything, nothing get it. Because you are not really focused on strongly, and you just try too many things, and eventually you can't get anything. So I always say, if you believe Buddha, then you should practice about him. And Padmasambhava or other Buddhas are same. They're all same. Just different forms, but actually they are the same. But before, you're right, it's very important to try too many, like sometimes think about Buddha, what do you feel? What is the energy you get from him? Or sometimes Jesus, like that, that's good. So once you're sure, you follow, or you practice on this, then just not many, just don't think many things, just only focus on that. Understand what I'm saying? It really helps. Like for me, for instance, if I study, if I practice on Buddha, and then until I get it, until I really accomplish that, then I move another, right? So I don't change many things. Don't change when I want to practice something and then I not finish, and then I start another thing. That's, I think, not good. First practice something is just to finish, completely finish, and then you can start something else.
It was always difficult for me as a child. When I was very young, I realized that when I was raised a Christian, that I must have been about 8 years old, and I realized that all these people were going to hell who weren't introduced to Christianity.
Right.
And I thought, well, this can't be right. And now I wonder, I think I can use it all.
Well, I think so too, because we are human beings. Human beings has a great intelligent mind, so you can investigate. You can investigate why they're going to hell. Why? What the reason? If there is a reason, then you can believe it. If there is no reason, why? Without blind, we call it without. Sometimes faith, right? Faith is important, of course, for every religion, but without understanding faith, like blind faith, not good. Not good. That's definitely not good. You have to understand. We have to understand what is the reason, why. That's I think for me, I like that. I like. Of course, faith is very important. Faith means you have to believe, right? You have to believe yourself. You have to believe somebody like that. But why you believe? What is the reason? For me, sometimes it's difficult. There's, you cannot investigate. You just believe. You have to believe. That's for me. I'm not that kind of person. I can't do that. And even though in Buddhism, I always investigate why I believe him, what's the reason. So for me, that kind of very important. But some people really love it, just without investigate, just to believe. That's good for them. Good for them.
Not so much in the belief, but listening to what he said,
All right.
Because, not so much as in the belief, or religion, but just as a...
See, that's good. I think that's good. Buddha said that one time, he said that, listen my teaching, even though you are not Buddhist. He said, when we taught about the Four Noble Truths, he said, just listen my teaching, and then investigate. What do you think? What do you think? It makes sense or not? I think this is very important. If you think makes sense, then yes, then good, then you should practice. If you think no makes sense, then I don't care. He said, you just forget. And or you can ask me, why you think that? Maybe I can give you correct answer. Or maybe we can talk about it. Maybe you misunderstood what I'm saying. He said that things. So I think it's listen, very important. Open, you remember yesterday I taught you, open your heart, it's very important. Open your mind. Listen everything. Study everything, very important. But don't believe. Just to listen or just to say something, don't believe without investigate, I think. But sometimes people have very strong karma, and then they just, I don't need investigate, I just believe, it makes sense, it helps me. That's good, right? That's kind of, also Buddhism, we have that, Or Buddha always say, you have to investigate your teacher. But one thing you don't have to investigate, if you have a strong karmic relationship with this teacher, then you don't have investigate because of this. That's good for you. But you will really see whether you have or not karmic connection with this teacher or not. You will see. It's you feel, you understand. If you have that, then you don't have to investigate. Other than that, you have to investigate teacher and teachings, right? So some people really just believe. I think that's their karma. And I think that helps for them. You understand? All right. Okay. Should we take a break? Yeah. Take a break for a while, and then we'll teaching and meditation. After lunch, we have refuge ceremony. Then we'll done. And if you want to just listen or want to see what ceremony, the refuge ceremony looks like, you can, no problem, I don't care. Or if you don't want, just you can go, you can leave, and whatever you think, whatever you want. So after, yeah?
Could you explain more about the refuge vows?
Yes, I will. Okay. I will. But when we have, when the first time I came to United States, and many people took refuge vows without understand. Actually, my fault. And when I come back next year, and then one person told me, "Well, I'm not ready yet. But I already took refuge vow. What should I do? I'm not ready." So then I understand, wow, that's really good one. I learned something. So I always say, people, you have to understand at least the teaching about Buddhism in order to take refuge vows. Without understand, just take refuge vow, not good, right? So why you want to become a Buddhist is, as soon as you take refuge vows, you are Buddhist. No matter you practice Buddhism or not, you are Buddhist because you take refuge vows. This is a commitment, right? Commitment to the Buddhism. Are you ready or not? What do you think about Buddhism? You have to understand at least, some sort of teachings of Buddha in order to take refuge vows. Take refuge vow means you are ready to become a Buddhist, and you understand that the Buddhism, the teachings of Buddha make sense for you, or you really want to practice meditation about Buddhism. Then really good. It's really good thing to take refuge vows, because the refuge vows If you have no refuge vows, you are so kind of outer, Buddhist teaching. If you take refuge vows, you are inner, Buddha's teaching. Or the refuge vow means like the difference between Buddhist and non-Buddhist, right? So that's the difference. So take refuge vow means you believe Buddha. Okay? Short. You believe Buddha. That means Buddha's teachings make sense to you, and you really like his teachings, and you really want to practice his teachings, and you really want to follow him. Then you have to take refuge vows, because if you really like Buddhism, no take refuge vows, it just doesn't make sense. Last few years ago, one person asked me, I practice great perfection, and I receive lots of Buddhist the initiation. But I didn't actually take refuge vows. I thought, what? It doesn't make sense. You practice great perfection is the Buddhist highest practice. We are not there yet, right? That just really doesn't make sense. I thought, who is your teacher? I didn't ask, but I thought, who is your teacher? What he's talking about? That kind of teacher really did not taking care of his students. It's teacher has a big responsibility. It's for his students. That doesn't make sense for me. That's really, I don't know. So that kind of not good at all. So you really, there is no rush to take refuge vows. Just to really understand about Buddhism. That doesn't mean you have to follow, right? But just understand about Buddha, just understand about Buddhist teaching, then it makes sense, then take refuge vows. And then you have so many levels, right? First, practice many different ways. And then you can actually, once you take refuge vows, you are on the path, Buddhist path. Then you have to go slowly, step by step.
Could you say just a little bit about other types of Buddhist vows beyond refuge vows?
Oh yeah, so many, Bodhicitta vow. First, refuge vows, Bodhicitta vows, and then also we call the Pratimoksha vow, means the monks' vows, and also lay people, also Buddhist lay people, they have another vows, and Vajrayana vow, so many. But the refuge vow is the foundation of all the other vows. Without refuge vows, you cannot take other vows. That's why I just don't understand this person. I receive lots of initiation from other teachers, but I didn't take refuge vows. That doesn't make sense. The refuge vow is the door, the key, into the Buddhist. The refuge vow is the foundation. All of his teachings, all of the vows. So that's why the first is that you have to take refuge vows in order to become a Buddhist. Then the other vows, it depends what you practice, right? For instance, if you practice Bodhicitta, you have to take Bodhicitta vows. So there are so many different vows, but it's not we're not there yet. It's not so important. But important is once you take refuge vows, you become a Buddhist. That means you really change your life. In Minneapolis, many students told me, you changed my life. I mean, that's good. They really love it. And now I have to stay in Minneapolis. I can't go. I can't move some other cities. I have to stay here. And I'm really happy. I'm so happy. Before I'm kind of lonely. I'm just myself. But now I have a Sangha here. and I have a practice every day. I'm not boring, and I can practice all these things. And I have lots of friends, lots of sanghas. We come together and help each other. They love that, If you are not practitioner, then you always just yourself, right? And so that's why the three jewels, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Sangha is group, right? The Sangha means the people who practice about Buddhism. And then you just get together and help each other and talking about what you practice meditation and how helps you, what do you think about. So that's we call it group, right? And Ely here, and he's a great leader, him, this Sangha, and you are very fortunate. I think this also good for your practice, but also good for your life. I mean, you have wonderful friends, then they help you each other, I think that's great. Okay, take a break. Buddhism. It's a very old religion. No, actually not religion. Buddhism is not religion. According to Buddhism, it is completely your choice if you want to practice Buddhism and to follow the Buddha. Very important. If you have decided that you want to follow Buddha and practice about Buddhism, then there are two sort of main paths that you can follow. One is the Hinayana is the foundation path, I think, the lesser vehicle, and then the other is the Mahayana. Actually, we have three, right? Hinayana, Mahayana, Vajrayana, but Mahayana, Vajrayana is include Mahayana. So we have main two different paths. It all depends on your motivation. This means two paths means depends on your motivation and who you are. That will decide which path you follow. So therefore, you need to check and investigate your motivation and investigate your intention. Right? For instance, I give you, for example, otherwise, difficult. Who is Hinayana? Who is Mahayana? We can't tell. For example, there are, let's say, three people who each offer 3 candles of the same quality to the Buddha. 3 candles, 3 people. We need to investigate the intention of these 3 people. Motivation. For instance, one person's motivation is to be successful in business and to have a happy life. That's why I offer the candle to the Buddha and pray that, say, be successful in my business and I will have a happy life. That's their motivation, intention, right? And then second person's motivation is to sort of escape the suffering of samsara. I don't want suffering. I understand the characteristic of suffering. The samsara is suffering. As long as I'm in samsara, I will suffer. I will suffer. So I want to escape the suffering of samsara and achieve liberation for myself. That's why I offer this candle to the Buddha and praise. So that's the intention. That's the second person's motivation, right? And then third person's motivation is offering the candle is for all sentient beings to have happiness and freedom from suffering. That's why the candle offered to the Buddha. So can you see what's different between these three people's motivations? So big different, right? Big different. We understand that all the candles are the same quality, right? Candle are same quality. There's no difference between them. And the offerings all go to the same Buddha, one Buddha. There's no difference between that. So we cannot see the difference between the Hinayana and Mahayana by looking at the candles and the Buddha. Right? But offerings do not lead to the same result because of their motivation, their intention. The first person is sort of one type of Hinayana. The second person is another type of Hinayana. And the third person is Mahayana. How we know that? Because if we investigate their motivation, then we know. The first person will achieve temporarily happiness. For instance, if his offering will successful, then he will achieve temporarily happiness, and he will successful his business because that's his motivation. The second person will achieve the Hinayana's liberation. Hinayana's liberation, remember? Two kinds of Hinayana liberations, right? The realization of the selflessness of self and selflessness of phenomena, half of the phenomena. So the second person really achieved the Hinayana's liberation because his motivation is that. And then third person will eventually achieve Buddhahood because this means that the third person's motivation, this candle, the offer to Buddha, is for sentient beings to have happiness and without suffering. So this is we call Bodhicitta. Understand? Bodhicitta. This motivation is we call Bodhicitta. Whatever you do, just you go to meditate 1 minute, or you say mantra 1 time, or whatever you do, without this motivation, you are maybe Hinayana, or maybe you are nothing. With this motivation, I'm going to meditate for 1 minute, but it's for really all sentient beings, be happy life, be, no suffering. So that's why I'm going to do this. That's we call great compassion, great bodhicitta, this we call actually bodhicitta mind. So bodhicitta, that's why, is the foundation of Mahayana's practice. You have to that motivation if you want to come this group, because we call this Bodhicitta Sangha, right? Bodhicitta means people who have this motivation, and then we have this together and meditate. So you have to bodhicitta mind. That means you have to this motivation. It's not only yourself, but for all sentient beings. Just this open mind. And it's really encourages, you sort of really more practice. You will really understand how important all living beings in your life. If you have this motivation, then you understand how to take care of others. You understand how to take care of yourself. This motivation changes person's life a lot. So that's why this is we call Mahayana's Mahayana's, the third person is Mahayana because of his motivation. So this means, from Buddhist point of view, at all times your motivation is important. Nothing exists outside of your motivation or your intention. It's just a motivation. It's just motivation is so important. You can't say, oh, this person is bad because he killed this person. We don't know what is his motivation, why he killed, maybe good reason. We can't tell, right? If he had a bad motivation, then bad person. But not necessarily, right? Buddha, before his lifetime, he killed one person. And then this person killed so many people. Buddha thought, oh, okay, I will kill this person. Then I can save the more other people's life. So that looks like he killed person, but his motivation is great. If some monks lie, when there was a story and a hunter shot the deer and can't kill, and then they ran away to the monastery in India, and monks found him, and then the hunter came to and asked them, "Where is my deer? I want." The monk said, "I don't know. We don't know. Where is your deer?" It's lied, right? They lied. They cannot lie, but lied, because their motivation, because they want to save this deer's life. So everything depends on your motivation, what you are doing. We can't say you're a bad person, you're a good person. We don't know what is their motivation. We can't, without wisdom mind, then we can't judge people. Really, we cannot, because their motivation is very kind of annoying. They know their motivation. I know my motivation. You know your motivation, but we don't know each other, the motivations, right? So we cannot judge this good person, that bad. We can't say that actually. We don't understand their motivation. So Buddhist point of view, whatever you do, motivation is the most important. Otherwise, see these three people, two are Mahayana, one is Mahayana, right? But how we know that? Because the candle, same qualities, offered to Buddha goes, Buddha is one same Buddha. How we know? Two are Hinayana, one is Mahayana. How we know? We don't know, but they know. And unless you ask what is your motivation, they will tell you. Then we know, right? Otherwise, we don't know. So that's why I think motivation is so important. So liberation, that's also motivation, right? I want practice, and I want to become a Buddha, or get enlightenment or liberation. That's your motivation. So if you accept this kind of liberation is an achievable goal, so how is it possible to achieve it? So this question brings us to the fourth noble truth. So now we understand suffering, right? And we understand the cause of suffering, and also we understand the cessation, right? So the three noble truths, actually we understand a little bit. So now we are looking for the path. That's actually the fourth noble truth, right? So, liberation is possible. Liberation, enlightenment is possible. But how? And then you are looking for the path, right? So this, talking about the fourth noble truth, which deals with the truth path. So according to the Mahayana explanation, the true path should be understood in terms of developing a direct nature realization of emptiness. So this is because the nature realization of emptiness leads directly to the attainment of cessation. But in order to have such realization, you must have a foundation in sort of a single-pointed meditation, because this is what leads to in sort of experiential knowledge of emptiness. So the point at which an individual attains that experiential knowledge is said to be the beginning of what is called the path of connection or path of preparation. And the point at which he achieves direct nature realization of emptiness is called path of seeing. That is actually the nature of your mind. You will understand, you recognize. And the experiential knowledge of emptiness must turn be based on an intellectual understanding of emptiness. Without that, it is impossible to attain meditative best experience of emptiness. That preliminary stages of developing intellectual understanding is part of what is known as the path of accumulation. So, to beginning of this path is point where the practitioner develops a genuine aspiration to attain liberation, and this we consider to be the very beginning of the Buddhist path, accumulation. So now, especially the Mahayana path, the compassion is the very foundation, or the great compassion and bodhicitta are the same. So bodhicitta is the very, very foundation. So the practice of our good heart and development in altruistic mind is aimed at deepening our understanding of compassion. It is one of the foundation of profound compassion that we develop the altruistic aspiration to seek enlightenment for the benefit of all. So this is we call bodhicitta mind. That's we need to, if you want to practice about Mahayana, you have to take refuge vows, then you have to practice about bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is about, remember, bodh means the enlightenment, right? Citta means heart or mind. But easily, bodhicitta means a kind heart, good mind. Bodhicitta means kind heart, kind mind. So Mahayana, this is the Mahayana's foundation. It's just, I think it's just really amazing. If you practice this about bodhicitta, you really feel that sort of easily your mind really sort of connect with others easily. Then also easily sort of associate with others. If you practice bodhicitta mind, really brings you a lot of power, and you will really understand the living beings so important in your life. That's I think the essence. That's I think the result. So in generally, the Mahayana, Hinayana, and Vajrayana's paths are a little bit different. But we already talked about a little bit the general Buddhist path, right? So I think that's very important to know in order to understand about Fourth Noble Truths. Because Fourth Noble Truths actually talking about Buddhist path. Now we will start discussing the Fourth Noble Truth, which is the truth of path, right? This truth is path that is practiced by someone who knows the defects of samsara's true suffering and advantage of liberations through cessation. So now we should talk a little bit about 4 characteristics of the truth of path. So these are path. The first characteristic is the path. Second is appropriate. Third, effective. And fourth, true deliverance. So it is characterized as a path because it takes us from the state of ordinary being to awakening or liberation. There are so many paths you can choose also in Buddhism, right? But let's say, for instance, Mahayana path. Buddha said that if you want to practice the Hinayana teachings, he said that's just fine, very good. But if you really want to get enlightenment, you have to move onto Mahayana path, because without Bodhicitta mind, it is impossible to get enlightenment. No way. So if you practice about Hinayana path, then it leads you sort of liberation. So that's the first characteristic. And it is appropriate because the second characteristic is appropriate, right? Because it works as an antidote to the causes of suffering, karma, and the afflictions, and all negativities. And the third, effective. It is effective because it is always successful in guiding our minds to liberation. Finally, the path is truly delivering, because if we practice this, there is no doubt that we will be lead out samsara. So we must practice step by step with patience and determination. If you practice in this way, then after a year or after a decade, you will notice at least sort of some improvement in in yourself. And when you see that, it brings a new sort of encouragement to continue. I have that experience. It's because I investigate now back to my sort of childhood, and then it's so different. When I was a leader, and I had a bad mind, it's so different, and it's somebody has a difficult, and I don't mind. I just ignore it, and who cares? But now I just I hear things and see things. It's just it's really difficult. I mean, I have lots of compassion, so that means we can change. We can change slowly our mind, because my practice, my main practice is bodhicitta every day, and I will go into also until I get enlightenment. I'm going to practice about only bodhicitta. That's all. I practice relative bodhicitta. I practice ultimate bodhicitta. So that's all. Actually, it's very easy. Buddha's teaching, all these different teachings include these two: ultimate bodhicitta and relative bodhicitta. So that's why I like. This is my favorite teaching and practice meditation. So that's why bodhicitta is just it's really my teacher. So you can do that. It's a it's a little bit take time. We must understand also that the change is not easy, right? Change is not easy at all, because the habitual tendencies, our afflictions, so strong. We habit, right? Habit strongly with our afflictions. We have to diminish all this. So it takes time. 30 years. If you believe past life, we all have these afflictions, our life, timeless. If you don't believe past life, only you think about this life. 20 years, 30 years, how old are you? 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. We only with our afflictions, no compassion, no bodhicitta, we never practiced, right? So we are now just start practicing. So it takes time to change these things. But definitely we can change, that's for sure, if you want. So now, how do we put this into practice? Knowing that the whole of samsara, by its very nature, its nature is suffering, right? We should feel strong sort of renunciation with the wish to escape from samsara. Renunciation is actually the foundation of the Mahayana. They all practice. Hinayana's the foundation is renunciation. Mahayana foundation is the bodhicitta. Vajrayana foundation is faith, right? That's they're more focused on. For instance, Mahayana practitioner, they practice all this, renunciation, bodhicitta, faith, but more focused, Mahayana practice, they focus on bodhicitta. That's like Hinayanas, they focus on more sort of renunciation. So here, renunciation means, you understand, renunciation means not having so much attachment to samsara. That's what we call renunciation. There are two so important practice to always remember if you want to practice. The renunciation means limiting your desires, and practicing satisfaction. Yeah. These two, very important, good for our life. So by limiting your desire, it means not being attached to too many things. and always wanting more and more. When you see things, when you hear things, you want more and more and more. I want that and this and that. Too much attachment. That means you are not practicing limiting your desire, right? You want more and more, like these rich people. Rich people always want more and more. They're never enough. They're never enough. And having satisfactions means always being happy with what you have. It is always enough. You think, oh, I have this, wonderful, that's good, that's enough. And that's what we call the renunciation. And some people really just attached to so many things, but they can't have, but they just too much attachment, you know. I want to buy this house, but I don't have money, but I love it. I want. It makes worry. It's not good for you. If you have money, then you buy. That's all. That's good, right? But limiting desire and practice satisfaction, so good for you. If you have more, you can have. Buddha never say, oh, you can't have this. You, in order to practice Buddhism, you have to give up everything. He never said that. If you have more, you can have without attachment. If you don't have money, then don't worry. Whatever you have, just enough. Just enough. Satisfy your things. I think that's wonderful, you know. I remember that, okay. Sometimes I think, oh, I want to this. And then I remember this. Okay, no, I am enough. I'm just fine. It's not necessary. I mean, if necessary, like food, 3 times a day, it's necessary, right? I have to have that. But no necessary things. Then, if you have good, but if you don't have, that's okay. There is no need to worry. No need to worry. So renunciation means this too. Understand? And practice and satisfaction. So nice. So that is about the fourth noble truth, which is the truth or path. That is the conclusion of the teaching on the Four Noble Truths. Also I would like to explain a little bit about how these Four Noble Truths are related to the outer preliminary and inner preliminary of the Buddhist path. If you are Buddhist, I know you. Some of you are practicing about preliminaries, right? So those of you, I think it's very important to know. So the first noble truth, right, the truth of suffering, is directly related to 2 of the outer preliminaries. Okay, the 2 preliminaries are the impermanence of life and defects of samsara. Remember, there we called 4 thoughts or four thoughts of change mind. Also, sometimes we say outer preliminary, which are the impermanence life, partial human life, cause and karma, and defects of samsara and benefit liberation. That's outer preliminaries. So the first noble truth related to the outer preliminary for the impermanence life and defects of samsara, because it's talking about that. And second noble truth, the truth of cause of suffering, is related to the outer preliminaries, karma or cause and effect. Remember, the second noble truth talking about cause and karma, right? And the teaching on the karma are the instructions that assist us in abandoning the cause of some suffering. And then third noble truth, the truth of cessation, is related to the fourth outer preliminary, the benefits of liberation. The fourth noble truth is talking about path, right? The liberation. The teachings on the benefits of liberation are the instructions for attain or finding true cessation. Right, that's the third noble truth. And then third noble truth are related to fourth outer preliminaries, which is the benefits, the liberation, okay, or cessation. And then finally, the fourth noble truth, the truth of path, is related to all of the inner preliminaries. You understand inner preliminary in the Refuge, Bodhicitta, Bodhisattva, Mandala, and Guru Yoga, outer preliminaries. This all related the fourth noble truths. So that's all about the noble truths and how to relate it to the inner preliminary and outer preliminaries. If you are Buddhist, it's so important to practice outer preliminary and inner preliminary, because this is the how you start. But if you're not Buddhist, you don't worry about those. So these four noble truths provide the foundation of all the paths, and they are the sort of common ground for all vehicles or yanas. In addition, whatever it is that we practice, whether it is the sutra or tantra or piti instructions, it is extremely important to understand these four noble truths. So now, you have teachings on the Four Noble Truths. If you sort of consider you are a Buddhist, then of course please put them into your practice. If you are practicing about outer preliminary and inner preliminary, I think you are practicing about Four Noble Truths, right? So practice in the Four Noble Truths. They should not remain just on an intellectual level. Practice and teaching must be part of your life. That's the Buddhism. That's Buddhism all about. It's just it's not enough just to understand. You have to practice. Your teachings put into your practice, and then your practice also the part of your life. There's no big difference between you and meditation, right? Your practice into your life, and you have to work, right, with your life. That's about Buddhism. It's not like it's not you just understand and then just put aside, and then your life is best. Sometimes people say, "Okay, this is my meditation time, and I really be careful, and I won't be sort of I have to have a compassion mind. I have to patient. I have to do this and that because this is my meditation time." And then you go to work and you see people and you get angry and you just your meditation is no longer in your life. I mean, you think that's a total different time. You just go to your office and somebody says something, you get angry, no patience, no compassion, not good, right? So your practice always you always need your life, always with you, No matter you sit, meditate, or just you're going, or whatever you do, you have to remember your meditations. Then this way how you change your life. Otherwise, I'm sure when you meditate, you are just easy, and you can handle, you can sort of control yourself, and everything is all right. But when you have a sort of bad circumstance, then you get angry. That means you are not really practicing, and your practice and teachings not be part of your life. So it's very important. I think it's very important. Whenever you do, it doesn't matter you sit or not. Just remember all the time your meditation. That's Buddha said. Always, always. That's very important. Because when you are sort of faced with sort of problems in your life, and then it won't be help. If you think this is a different kind of time, if your meditation is not your part of your life, then when you have a problem, it doesn't work, doesn't help you. So once the teaching is part of your life, then whenever you have a sort of real problem, it gives you really inner strength. That's I can tell. I investigate Buddhist, the Tibetan Buddhist practitioner. I just very clearly see that, and it is also possible only if we have some sort of experience in ourselves that will provide inner strength, because no one else can sort of provide this for us. Only teaching, only meditation. So the teachings on the Four Noble Truths were, of course, Buddha Shakyamuni's first teaching. It's very briefly, we have just finished now learning sort of about these Noble Truths. And if you want to learn more Four Noble Truths, then of course there are so many books about Four Noble Truths. You can learn in more. This is very briefly, this teaching. The Four Noble Truths are so profound and detailed. It's just, but I just pick some teachings and and then just short and briefly introduce you. This is just actually introduce about Four Noble Truths. It's not, we're not there yet, It's so deep, so profound, so detailed. If you really want, you have to read a lot. You have to read lots of books, because fortunately we have so many books in English, so you can not necessarily understand about Tibetan language, and you can read more, you can learn in more. That's I think really good. And I think we should practice meditate a little bit before lunch. Focus on the breath. Of course, you already know that, because yesterday we did. But those who are new today, and maybe if you're a beginner, it's really important focus on your breath, because this is good for everybody. It's very simple meditation. It's very simple meditation. It's very easy, but it's very strong. It's very powerful meditation. It's easy to control your mind. It's easy to, if you practice this, it's easy to concentrate, and that's why I think I always give this instruction to those who are beginners. So I think we'll do that few minutes for new people here today. We'll do that. Remember yesterday we talked about 3 stages. The breath 3 practice. Breath 3 stages. You breathe out and pause and feel and relax, right? You breathe in, pause, you little bit push down your breath, and then you just relax, feel, and also if you have chance to see the true nature through this meditation, also you can. But if you have no idea what is about, what is about true nature, then that's just fine. You just relax and feel it. You have to experience. Your experience, just this relaxation is so important. So you understand? Just breathe out, pause, and focus on that. Sometimes really nice. Just let your mind and mind or consciousness or mind dissolve into breath, and then breath dissolve into emptiness or the space, empty space, and then just relax as much as you can, and then breathe in. Focus on your thoughts. Always bother you, don't follow, just let come, let go. Who cares? Your thoughts, it's okay, they're part of your mind. As if you know how to handle these thoughts, never bother you. Understand? Okay, let's do that. 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Yeah, let's say 10 minutes, okay? All right. When you do this, it's also very important. Breathe in, breathe out very, very softly, very gently, and then just focus on that. It's very easy, but it's very powerful practice.